The light of civilization is failing. The land has been conquered by the Sorcerer King. You must light the spark of rebellion and rally allies to your cause. For the Sorcerer King is no ordinary villain. He seeks to destroy the elemental shards and become a god.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is SidAlpha and welcome to another episode of Is It Worth It? Today we're looking at Sorcerer King, a game that has come out of early access and was released today, July 16th by Stardock Games. This is a fantasy RPG game done in a style which is fairly typical for Stardock Games and what they are most known for, which is tactical strategy style games. Let's take a quick look at the options menu here. We have in general, auto turn, quick move, edge scroll, auto selection, turn game introduction. Okay, game introduction quest. This option is for the tutorial. So help notifications, auto save, auto resolve flawless battles. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and turn that on, just for fun. Turns until autosave, so this is where you can select how many turns you have before the game automatically saves for you, which is a handy feature to have, especially in a game like this, because typically in these style of games, unless you're very familiar with the game, you will be backtracking and reloading quite a bit. So I do recommend saving often. And in order to allow the game to do that for you, it does have this option. Tactical battle animation speed, tooltip delay. Now, display options, we have show grid, show move radius, particle effects, show path on mouse over, resolution. Now, desktop option means it will automatically set its resolution to that of your Windows desktop, or you can choose screen resolutions here, which is all your fairly standard resolutions. However, there does not appear to be any manual settings for 4K resolution. Unfortunately, I do not have a 4K monitor, so I'm unable to test this part. So that will take a little bit of research to find out whether or not this game fully supports 4K resolutions or not. UI scale, change the size of the user interface, anti-aliasing, dynamic shadows. Pretty basic there. All your standard audio options. We're going to turn music volume down. Event music, we're going to turn that down. Turn the ambiance volume up a little bit. Then we have advanced options here. Now we have max texture atlas size. Change the size of the texture atlas used to render UI elements. Skip intro, use mods. So they have use mods built right into the interface here. Use movement within tile. Follow selected unit, show highlight cursor, zoomed cursor, storyteller camera, camera pan speed, edge scroll delay, tactical battle threshold, which is set the number of units required in a battle before the game will prompt you to have a tactical battle. Actually, we're going to turn cloth map on, because without that, it gets a little basic there real quick. Okay. Man, world props high, screenshot formula. We have JPEG, bitmap, TGA, PNG, DIB, all that fun stuff. Brightness and contrast. So pretty typical systems from Stardock. I'm actually quite fine with these settings here. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Let's jump into a new game here so we can see a little bit of the game mechanics. Now we have Choose Your Sovereign. This is basically the overseer of your city, and depending on which one you pick, you get special abilities. We have Wizard, a powerful channeler, one of the greatest the world has ever seen. He wields a variety of offensive and defensive spells. Sorry, I'm trying to get my mouth to work correctly. And can hypnotize enemy units, instantly changing the course of a battle. Then we have the Commander, a great general trained from birth in all aspects of martial life. He is able to amass great armies and lead them over vast distances in little time. His cities are built with one priority: to train the world's most powerful army. And we have the Tyrant, a cruel and callous leader who will stop at nothing to overthrow the Sorcerer King. Equally unforgiving with his own subjects, the Tyrant draws strength from the Doomsday Timer, gaining magic production and military might as the world slips into darkness. Guardian, a talented mage with a strange and unique connection to the world herself. The powerful earth magic she wields can shape the land, expand her borders, or protect her armies. We have the Priestess, a legendary healer and scholar with a connection to the divine. Her prayers can call down the power of the gods, spells of unequaled healing or destructive power. And then, of course, the Tinkerer, a master craftsman who spent much of his life studying the forge of the Overlord. He now wields it with great skill, benefiting all soldiers and servants of his realm. And then you have custom options, so you can create your own sovereign, which is pretty great. So if you don't like all the positives and negatives that come with any of the pre-selected sovereigns, you can create your own. Although it would be nice if they had the option for you to set your own picture on your chosen sovereign or your created sovereign. That's perfectly fine though. It's good that they did configure that customizable ability. We're actually going to choose Kayla the Guardian. Alright, map Aeron. We're going to choose a tiny map. And just for the purposes of this review, we're going to choose beginner. I always choose beginner on Stardock's games for at least the first 1 or 2 playthroughs until I get my feet wet a little bit, because their games are typically fairly expansive and the game difficulty does ramp up quite a bit. We'll set Doomsday Speed to slow. Your rivals, we have the Frozen Realm and Peridon. Okay, now that we have that in place, it will configure the map. Now here we have a story-based option settings for your bonuses and starting items that you have. Kayla the Guardian. You are Kayla, Guardian of Athica. Hailing from the nearby forests, your people were attacked by one of the Sorcerer King's minions. Like I said, my mouth isn't working properly tonight, so there's bound to be a few mistakes. A giant beast of fire, which is one of the Sorcerer King's minions. You were sent to Athica to seek help, but found only weakness. There, your gentle manner led many to your side, and you soon found yourself nominated to a position of power. What did you do next? Well, I learned as much as I could about my enemy. Or, I stored away magic in preparation for the coming war. Or, I gathered as many resources in preparation for the coming war. I learned as much as I could about my enemy. Seems like a smart thing to do. Your people have long had an affinity for the creatures of the world, and they a certain tolerance for you. Though you have but a limited currency with them, you were able to convince a select few to lend you assistance in surveying the forests arrayed against you. And we have, I asked the birds to collect shiny valuables. I asked the mice and moles to sneak into the enemy's camps and listen to their words. I asked the beasts to hunt down the Sorcerer King's minions. No, I just remembered I did something else instead. We're actually going to gain some intelligence there. Moving through the ground and underbrush, the mice and other small creatures could see much without being seen. Along with news of the Sorcerer King's activities, the fool had begun to destroy the shards of magic. They returned to you with much magical knowledge they were able to overhear from the apprentices who do the Sorcerer King's bidding. Thanks, guys! Okay, so this is what we gained. We gained plus 20 lore and plus 1 wisdom. Now the time to cast off the Sorcerer King's sinister rule has come. You must expand your realm, protect the shards of magic, and explore the world. You may find it useful to seek out allies to assist you in your fight, though be wary. They will have designs of their own. Eventually, you will have to confront the Sorcerer King himself and halt his evil plans once and for all. Okay, we are going to make a quick change to the UI here. This cloth map isn't... there we go. Isn't quite what I expected. I was expecting to be able to... Yeah, as you can see, you do have standard zoom in and out. Ooh. And once you get close enough, there's instant pop in there. I actually don't like that. I mean, this is neat, but I'd prefer to see more spanned out, kind of like what you would expect from a Civilization style game, which this game is actually very similar to Civilization in a lot of aspects, and we'll go into those here in just a second. So this is my starting area. We do have a shard here right next to our city, which is pretty typical. However, it did randomly generate another shard right next to our territory, so which is actually good. Building shrines on shards. Gains you mana, lore, or sovereign experience. Resources must be built within your territories before being constructed. Okay. That's interesting that we got 2 bonuses right within our borders right away. That's perfectly fine. Here is our starting army. Now, we'll take a look at the city first. We'll go to the actions here, and you have build for buildings or train units. Now, the buildings, the building and training is very similar to, like I said, Civilizations, where you have amount of turns. And underneath those, you notice summoning cost. This is for the amount of mana you have available, which you do gain a small amount of mana each turn, which can help you speed up your production in training units or constructing buildings. It is very good to increase food. Yes, more food means more people, which means we'll expand more. We'll start off with that. That's a good idea. A lost library. Interesting. Anyways, so the city building and everything is very similar to Civilizations. Here you have your territory tiles. You have to wait for the city to expand before it starts working another tile. But the more tiles you work, of course, the more production and resources you gain. Now we have our starting army, which is 3 different units. We've got Bill, the spider. We've got Ben. Ben, what are you? Ben, a monstrous bear that can maul its foes. It can maul anyone it wants, really. It just only wants to maul its foes. That's cute. I like that. Now, you'll notice we have full inventory layout for our individual creatures. These are actually heroes, which adds a very, very nice aspect here. So you can equip and upgrade your units on the map while they go out and do battle, which actually makes them quite a bit more valuable. Okay, quite a bit more valuable, and allows a lot of really nice, interesting customization. We have Peregrine the Ranger. Hailing from a quiet woodland people, this heroic ranger is renowned for his mastery of the bow. Of course, we have Ben, and then we have Bill, a shockingly big spider, just way too big, capable of capturing enemy units in its web. So yes, these guys are fully customizable. You have a crafting area where you gather resources for exploring things like, we'll actually go do that right now. We'll just go hit this chest up. Find several gemstones. They're flawed, but should still prove useful for crafting. Okay, and we actually left our guys behind there for some reason. So we'll just do that. We'll go to crafting. Oh, first we have to unlock Enchanted Forge in our Sovereign skill tree before we can enchant items. So not only can you construct new items and equipment for your heroes, you can enchant them as well. Oh, research a spell. Okay, so what we're going to research, what should we research first? We're actually going to research heal. That seems like a good idea in the turn. Several gemstones, which is for enchanting. Now also up here we have the Doomsday counter. All you're doing is you're doing all of this in an attempt to thwart the Sorcerer King from destroying all of these shards. Once he destroys all these shards, he will gain enough power to become a god. So that is something you want to prevent. And you have this Doomsday counter. He is casting the spell of making in order to turn himself into a god. If he manages to cast the spell, then you lose the game, basically. And we also have things like a Humble Inn here, which is basically a random encounter item. Okay, so we'll end our turn, and alright, killing time. The local evil vanquished a little earlier in the day than you expected. You approach an inn. Unfortunately, it's still early afternoon, and you are told it's too soon to check in. I'm going to hang out in the stable and play dice. And we picked up a new unit because of that, the Stable Boys. You hang out playing dice in the stable with the Stable Boys. They've got homemade wine and some really filthy stories about cow maidens that you enjoy. So you offer them all jobs. So you actually pick up a unit to join your army there. Craftable items. Useful materials for crafting. Oh, hello, Sorcerer King. And periodically the Sorcerer King will pop up and offer you help, in quotation marks. The new Guardian of Attica. Whatever you may have heard about me, know that I am and will always be your friend. I want nothing but the best for you and the people of your realm. Now then, how goes your work? Do your people need any assistance? And then you have options here where he will provide you with something. We could use some additional logistical support. People have need of magical scrolls for various matters. Athica's in tatters. I could use an administrator to help rebuild. And be gone from my sight, Sorcerer King. We're going to pick that one because screw him, right? Okay, more stuff. We're actually going to... Oh, we've got one more turn on that, so we're going to try and get into a little combat here. As you approach this village, you find a stream of people running the other way. Tiny little monsters has swarmed out of the hills and ravaged the town. Yeah, that happens, you say with a sad nod. The mayor says he will do anything if you can find some way to save his town. Anything, you ask? Yeah, I'll help him out. Stroll into town to do battle with the tiny little monsters. And that cuts us straight to the game map here. Now, you do have turn orders here on rounds 1, 2, and 3. So you can see who's going first, who's up next. So we have the tiny terror is coming after my ranger. And then that tiny terror. So what we're going to do Oh, actually, we have our spider first, and then our ranger, and then the two tiny terrors. So we're actually going to have him run over here and attack these guys. Oh, they dodged. Okay. Now, again, Peregrine the Ranger does have special abilities. So far, we've got Hidden Dagger, Lethal Shot, and Rain of Arrows. But Rain of Arrows is good for all enemies in a one-tile radius. As we can see, they're spread out. So we're going to choose Deadly Shot. All too easy. Alright, then we'll attack here. So it is a turn-based style combat. Oh, he killed them all in one hit. And they gain experience and level up as they fight enemies. So this game has a lot of depth and nuances to it, and it's all very, very nice. Now we pick up the former mayor and +1 courage. Okay, welcome to my army, former mayor. And our Sovereign leveled up. So as you can see, we have a skill tree for the Sovereign. Yeah, we'll do Enchanted Forge first, actually. You know, we have Idle Cities. And we'll start on a work camp to increase our city's production. That sounds like a good idea. In turn, and our boys will start moving along. New spell has been discovered. Heal. Okay. Next up. Cool. Yeah, we're going to study Storm next. That's awesome. Alright, next turn. I said next turn. There you go. And as you can see, they have much slower movement through the trees. Okay. No risk! In the back of this inn, you find a large room filled with many people and chairs. At the front of the room, a man stands explaining something complicated about real estate transactions. He seems confident and self-assured, but the more you listen, you realize he's saying very little of actual substance. You suspect he might be trying to swindle these people. Offer him a job. Ex-sleazeball. You walk up to the front of the room, as is your habit, and take him by the elbow. I need someone with a smooth tongue and a complete lack of morals. Turns out he has both those qualities. So now we have ex-sleazeball as part of our army here. Why aren't you crafting? During a recent tour of the capital, several villagers asked to see the fabled Forge of the Overlord. Upon entering the room, they note the build-up of crafting ingredients and its apparent disuse. One of the villagers asks, "Why aren't you using it?" Oh, right, the Forge of the Overlord. That's totally a thing. Okay, so that's it saying, hey, go craft something. Alright, Peregrine the Ranger, Ranger's Bow. We're actually... Let's see, what should we do here? Of course, it's a bow, so we should do added +4 accuracy. We'll send him there. Apparently we're maxed out on our party here. Oh, our city leveled up. Our city leveled up, so we get to choose where we can expand to. Okay, so we expanded to that clay city so we can start getting those resources. We're going to start on a library. That sounds like a good idea. Oh, and as you can see, we got Sorcerer King's progress towards casting the spell of making. You feel an unnatural chill as you approach this village, and soon spot a group of ice monsters milling about. Frolicking, you guess, with the villagers' bones. They don't seem to care about you, meaning you could probably avoid them and still loot what valuables remain behind in this town, or, you know, you could do the right thing and rid the world of their evil. Do the right thing or do the other thing? We'll go ahead and do the right thing. Frosty Menace. We're going to do Tangled Web on that guy. Lethal Shot on that one. Oh my god. And as you can see, you also get aid from nearby enemies. Come on, Ben, get him. Now this is fun. He has Maul, so he'll keep attacking. I'm guessing either until the creature is dead, or if he misses. And Peregrine the Ranger levels up, but man, Ben took quite a spanking there. We get former villagers. Okay, so as you can see, this game has quite a bit of deceptive complexity, and so far I've checked into it for a few hours before I started recording just to make sure I had a little bit better grasp of the basic mechanics, because I know Stardock games, and I know that they always put a lot of effort and depth into their games, and it actually shows pretty well here. Overall, the graphics are fairly basic, definitely nothing to write home about. However, the core game mechanics and the overall feel and style of the game are quite nice, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. So far, I have encountered 0 bugs and nothing wrong whatsoever with the game. Like I said, however, be careful when you start getting into those higher difficulty modes, because they do spike quite readily. So far, this has been a pretty fantastic game. And we also have the world report, active quests. So as you can see, there's just a metric ton of content in this game. And I really look forward to exploring it more and taking advantage and really seeing what all this game has to offer. So, once again, this has been a brief look at Sorcerer King, a game by Stardock Games. The price of the game is $40 or your regional equivalent, and to answer the question, is it worth it? I would have to say absolutely yes. For $40, you are definitely going to be... I feel if you are a fan of this style and genre of game, you will definitely be getting your money's worth out of this purchase. So if you like these style of games, if you're a fan, go out and buy it. Trust me, you won't regret it. So, my name is SidAlpha, and I'll see you next time. Hey folks, SidAlpha here. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. If you want to check out some other First Impressions videos, feel free to click on the link on the left. If you're interested in staying more up to date with what's happening in the PC gaming community, feel free to click on the link to your right. The subscribe button is down at the bottom. Please show your support and punch that evil thing as hard as you can. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's on the lower left. And once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate it.